you gave some of those lower targets, the 18, the 20. Now, Mind Your Biz, those numbers, they're kind of important to me because that's where miners are no longer in profit. And we're seeing hash rate at all-time high difficulty. So normally when the difficulty rises, the price rises. When the difficulty lowers, the price lowers. Well, we're not seeing that correlation anymore. It almost seems to be totally disconnected from where it has been in the past. Do you see that continuing, or is this a fluke? What's going on with the disconnect between the hash rate and the price?
Well, that's a great question. I appreciate that you brought up this particular point because the article that we were sent over in our show notes have to do specifically with mining difficulty and specifically to do with network security on Bitcoin. Price follows hash rate, and hash rate follows difficulty, as you alluded to. And right now, there's typically a pretty strong correlation between difficulty and price, right? It's a bit of an extrapolation. There's usually that correlation between difficulty and price, but let's be very, very clear. We're talking about security of the network before we talk about value of the asset. The current cost to produce one Bitcoin. I'm going to see if I can quickly pull up a window here so I can do a bit of sharing as well. So now we're in my wheelhouse. Okay, this is what we look at. These are the charts that matter to us who secure the Bitcoin network. But right now, at the average cost for power here in the United States, somebody who's trying to mine at home, you're right, you're not in the money. But people who are mining internationally right now, we had a quick sidebar about this before the show. When you're mining in markets where the cost basis for your power is somewhere on the order of, say, 5 cents, you're actually in very good shape. You're not too worried about whether or not you're in profit. So right now, it may appear that some miners are not in profit, but I assure you, the pros definitely are. And that accounts for minimum half of the network security right now. And Bitcoin is pretty amazing. Satoshi, proof of work is a pretty amazing invention. It's elastic. It could scale all the way back to 10% of the current total network hash rate, and Bitcoin would still be secure. But the difficulty adjusts every 2 weeks. So we're in the middle of a drawdown in price, right? People's portfolios are down, but the network hasn't updated yet, right? Like the difficulty will adjust at some later time. In the meantime, though, Bitcoin is secure, transactions are going through, proof of work is operating exactly as it's intended to, even though the prices are going down. And proof of work, I mean, networks like Ethereum have been promising proof of stake for over 5 years. It's really hard to make that transition if you start as a proof of work network and then try to wean yourself onto proof of stake. It's just really, really difficult. And the takeaway there, at least from a miner's perspective, is that proof of work works. So it's not broken. Price, I have no doubt, a bit like how CryptoBiz you mentioned before, I have no doubt we're going to see those really high targets in the future. But in the meantime, I just want to know my value is secure, and proof of work mining secures that.
Yeah, secures that. And you speak of things that are broken. That kind of reminds me of another thing many people say is broken, and that's social media. You go on social media, especially crypto, Twitter, and other sites. You see a lot of bearish sentiment. You see a lot of fear. You see people, they're kind of freaking out. They're saying that the sky is falling. Mind Your Biz, I've followed your Twitter for a long time. You definitely take you definitely take security very seriously. You're always talking about, I don't even think you run Android on your phone, if I'm not mistaken. You run Linux. It's a huge part of your brand. And we'll get article after article and headline after headline saying, crypto's all full of scammers. It's all, everything's getting hacked. Everything's a Ponzi scheme. All these articles are definitely incredibly biased. But me and decentralization ultimately is good for security. It actually, ups your security. How do we communicate that, decentralization is a good thing to the general public?
Well, the first thing is, I mean, this is a very privileged group, right? We're very fortunate in that the audience cares to come and listen to what we have to say. So first off, kudos to everybody here who's used their platform to do that. Ben was extremely responsible with the disclosure coming up when the thing first happened. I was in that Telegram group, and I tried to publish immediately and take a screenshot of what he shared because nobody else was talking about it. Everybody else was like, oh, I got hacked, but I don't want to admit it. Try to take it down real fast. And, maybe nobody will notice. They're all in damage control mode. And Ben just said like, oh, well, shoot, they got me. But I'll just tell everybody. I'll warn everybody. So first things first, we talk about it, right? We have to talk about it. That's responsible disclosure. That helps prevent other people from getting hacked, and it cuts off the whatever these bad actors are. It cuts the snake off at the head, so to speak. And that's the first thing. We just got to talk about it. It's unfortunate. Another good example that comes to mind is Omar Bam from Crypto's News. One of his wallets got hacked because of a security practice, and he was very remorseful. He's missing, I think, one of his ENS registered domains. Same with Not So Fast, a notable crypto Twitter guy who's actually missing his own namesake on his .eth address. These things happen, but when we're open about them and we try to tell people the ways and means in which we think we were hacked, we do more good. So again, like I really appreciate that you have me back on the BitBoy Crypto channel because you're great examples of that. And Ben definitely leads from the front in that regard. But how do we help? Yeah, we talk about it, especially when it's inconvenient with family, right? They're already groaning when we have those family meetings and it's holiday time or there's a wedding or there's a funeral. And we're like, so about that crypto stuff, I talked to you about this 6 months ago. We need to lead that with, hey, are you using a password manager? Because if you did buy that crypto stuff and your seed phrase gets leaked, you're screwed. Your net worth lives in a code, right? So up that security game, but it starts in a more personal way. If we don't have a platform like this, if you got a platform like this, I don't care if you are a makeup influencer. I don't care if you review baby toys, if you do unboxing videos. If you got a platform, let people know how they can stay safe in whatever your domain is. Anyway, that was a bit of a rant.
Yeah, it's always fun, trying to explain that to the family members. I always like to start with, I scare them. I say, "Are you ready to get freaked out? Here's your secret passphrase that you can share with nobody ever." And then I repeat ever. I scream it at the top of my lungs. I'll say, "You'll lose everything," spittle flying out. But that's usually how I do it. You got to set the tone. You got to set the tone. Well, let's talk about the economic collapse that may be coming. Hopefully not, but we're seeing a lot of things. We're seeing tensions rise. We're seeing tensions rise, whether it's Taiwan. We're seeing tensions rise around Ukraine. We're seeing NASDAQ falling down. We had that terrible Netflix earnings on Friday, bringing everything down. We have the Fed possibly slowing down the little water spigot that, all the money likes to trickle out of. So we have all these macro narratives, kind of saying maybe things are going to start slowing down. Maybe things, you're hearing people say things like Great Recession, Great Depression. Mind Your Biz, you've been in here since, what many would call the early days. And if you remember, Bitcoin was born out of the economic collapse of '08 and then the Genesis block in '09. But then the economy was, mostly on an upswing since then. A little bit of a hiccup in March 2020. But many are saying, we might be running into the most economic turbulent time ever in Bitcoin's history. Is that going to change the narrative? Or, is this, Bitcoin still just kind of keep going to do what it's doing with its cycles?
I think the cycles are going to be, I think we're going to find something a little bit different from what it's done before, because this is the first time that, like you're saying, that Bitcoin tests new all-time lows or tests support in the face of a potentially, 2008 global economic crisis matching circumstance. So yeah, we haven't seen this before. We've never seen, Bitcoin in this form before. Is its power level over 9,000? We're about to find out. Like, does it have that kind of resilience? We really don't know. But I think we're going to see something that really does test the resolve of the people who call themselves hodlers of last resort, right? Who do hold all the way to zero, ostensibly. But we're also going to find, I think, possibly brand new holders. We are going to bring in new participants into the entire cryptocurrency market, I suspect, not just in Bitcoin, but of course in the broader markets. So coins like Cardano that are right now still kind of promise chains when we're talking about DeFi, but are growing, right? That they're just at that point right now where they may be hitting the knee of the curve in terms of functionality. They're going to really have a phenomenal moment here if they're able to deliver on scale and TPS while Bitcoin is experiencing that kind of test, right? That kind of an all-time low test. But the same is true of all of DeFi, right? All smart contract platforms. So yeah, what are we going to see here? I think we're going to see something that for the crypto loyalists who've been in it for a long time, who say they're in it for the tech, we're going to see something that's genuinely inspiring in terms of how the tech can empower people. But Bitcoin proper, my gosh, my heart goes out to the people who sold their truck or refinanced their home or did whatever they were going to do at 65K to get more Bitcoin and have hodled all the way to this point and are now standing on the event horizon of what could be financial circumstances that match 2008. I truly, truly feel sorry for these people. I think you should be questioning all of your life choices up to this point. But what to invest in from this point moving forward? Lead and brass, my friend, never fails.
All right. All right. I'm going to go buy a bunch of pencils from the CVS as soon as this episode's done. That is all we got for the episode. It looks like Mind Your Biz kind of took it there at the end. Definitely a good day with all the security breaches and everything. You know, Mind Your Biz always preaches security. Definitely check out his channel, check out his socials. But Mind Your Biz, go ahead and take it away. Leave us with some parting thoughts.
Hey, parting thoughts, guys. First off, thank you so much for tuning in. I mean, I appreciate being here to have this kind of counterpoint and conversation with people who are somewhat like-minded, but have a slightly different point of view. I think it's great that you're here listening to everybody here on this panel and that you're subscribing to everybody. I mean, seriously, you're in the right place. Keep coming back. You're going to keep on learning. That's all I got for you.
Oh, great ending there. And that is all we got time for. Until next time, Biz Squad, DZ out. Hope you like the new background.